Welcome everyone. Today I'll be breaking down the winning deck lists from this week's online Marvel Snap tournament. We had a really exciting bracket, some awesome players come through, show off some really high-level deck building skills. Before I talk about the tournament and give a breakdown of the winning lists, please make sure you like the video, subscribe, and click the notification bell. The tournament that these lists come from is called Snap Battle Weekly. It's a weekly online tournament that I host every Wednesday. It's free to enter, so if you'd like to participate in an online tournament sometime, we'd love to have you. I'll have the link in the description down below. In third place, we have an Arishem deck. I call this one Arishem featuring Miss Marvel. That's a card that you don't really see a lot nowadays. Miss Marvel being a 4/4 that spreads lots of power. If you can get her ability off, she ends up being a 4/14. And in Arishem, you're hoping to play her on turn 3, so that's a lot of power to be putting down so early in the game. Another notable card is the new Doc Ock. Doc Ock used to be a 5/10, pull 4 cards. Now he only pulls the 1 card, but I guess this player decided that still playing him out on turn 3, pulling that 1 card, giving that hand disruption was still worth playing. Another notable card we have is Loki. Loki now being a 3/5 that transforms your deck. If you're able to play Loki on turn 2, because you have that extra energy with Arishem, that means you're seeing that extra card every game. Also, because Loki transforms your deck, it actually reduces the number of cards in your deck, makes it easier for Arishem to play around some of its more common counters. Now, Arishem is considered in the archetype of ramp. These are decks that are trying to cheat out big cards or have more energy than usual. Typically, this is done with cards such as Electro or Psylocke. But Arishem right now is kind of the king of ramp. It gives you that extra energy at the start of the game. You don't really need to do anything. You're just dealing with those 12 random cards. Now, the average mana cost of this deck is 4.1, but again, keep in mind, Arishem giving you that extra energy. These decks are usually able to play a little bit greedier of a curve. Finally, here's a card pool and series breakdown, so you can kind of compare your own collection level journey against this one, see what cards you might need to swap out. So this is a really cool list, really cool seeing Miss Marvel in the top 3 of a tournament. I'd really like to see her make more of a splash. Speaking of Arishem, in second place, we have another Arishem list. I call this one Big Boy Arishem, because this player decided to play some more of those high cost cards in their deck. I love seeing Magneto. Magneto can still close out games all on his own. Also a cool synergy with Dr. Doom. Doom giving you those 2 Doom bots synergizes quite well with Mockingbird, as those Doom bots count towards discounting her cost. A cool card that we have in here also is Claw. I can't remember the last time that I've seen someone intentionally put Claw in their deck. Maybe in Arishem you see Claw randomly generated. That's kind of cool, but no, we're just playing Claw in our list. Really gives us a lot of potential to play around some tricky or lockdown locations. Finally, we also have Loki. Again, Loki being really threatening if we can get him down on turn 2. So this again is a ramp deck, but the average energy cost in this deck is a bit higher than the last deck that we saw. But again, Arishem giving you that free extra energy every turn. Here's another card pool or series breakdown, but with Arishem, it really gives you the freedom to play the cards that you like, play the cards that you want to see, as long as you're willing to deal with those 12 extra cards kind of shuffled in. Now, finally, in first place, we have a Silver Surfer list. I call this one Low-Cost Surfer because this player went really hard on those 3 drops and lots of low-cost cards. The big thing sticking out to me here is Goose. Goose can basically solo a lane if you pair her with something like Cassandra Nova or Brood. Another card that stuck out to me is Cosmo. I don't really see a lot of Cosmo in Silver Surfer decks. I imagine this was probably for the mirror match. A lot of Surfer lists playing Wong, playing lots of greedy on-reveal cards. This player isn't. So of course the archetype of this deck is called Silver Surfer. Surfer really defines its own archetype. You play Surfer, typically an extra way to proc Surfer an additional time, but really just playing a bunch of cool 3 drops. So here's a pool or series breakdown with Silver Surfer, but Silver Surfer is usually considered a little bit of an easier, more beginner level deck that you're able to build with the 3 drops that you have, especially if you're including tech cards, you're including ways to play around your opponent's strategies, such as, in this case, Cosmo and Negasonic. So that's it for this week's deck list breakdown. Had some really cool decks show up this week. If you're interested in this kind of tournament and you want to join yourself, the tournament is free to enter. It runs every week on Wednesday. I'd love to see you join. Please, one more time, make sure you like the video, subscribe, click the notification bell so you can catch me next week when I post the winning deck lists for next week's tournament. I'll see you guys next week. Please look in the description down below to join the free tournament. And as always, happy snapping.